good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in internet land, and welcome to another episode of Radio Armbar. Now to introduce your lovely and talented hosts. First, he drinks blood and bleeds coffee. It's Dan B. Danielson. Next, he wears his sunglasses at night. It's Matt the Doctor. Alright, get ready, strap yourself in. It's time for Radio Armbar.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the resurrection, revival, and redo of Radio Armbar Live. Stay with us tonight as we will take a look at the past year in AES history and discuss the things that were, are, and possibly will or never will be. I'm Dan B. Danielson, and joining me tonight is none other than my usual cohort, Mr. Matt the Doctor. Say hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Well, hi, Matt. Now, let's get started by saying this show will be a little bit different than the previous, because in the past we recapped the shows of the past week or so, but this time, due to the long time difference, we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to have a look at the past year in AES, and man, things have sure changed around these parts. I'm glad we've come a long way from where we were last year, where, activity was ground into a standstill, but due to many events out of everyone's hands. Now, we're back on the radar, and we've got a lot of feds on the rise with CFPW, ZPW, TDW, now, UWAT, many more set to take up the spotlight in the gaming, grappling, role-playing world. Well, that's a mouthful. Now, the question I'd like for us to start off with tonight is, what do we have now that we didn't have a year ago? And, vice versa. So, yeah, let's go to you, Matt.
Well, we have a lot of things now. I mean, we have... Speaking of now, we have now. I mean, now. New Origin Wrestling. So that's something that we've never really had before outside of maybe Hot Prospects with MWAT.
Yeah.
And it's really well done. Obviously, we have a bunch of new feds. TDW, really bringing the No Mercy fed back with style. ZPW kind of being one of the big WWE game feds. So, we have a lot of new feds, and all those ones in setup as well. We have Swerve, we have, is it Daikaiju and Baw, and is it Baw, B-A-W?
Yeah, I think so. We've also got Rose as well that's going to be coming back, which is big news.
Yeah, Rose coming back, that's pretty big news, should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
We also have a lot of new members. We've really had a lot of new members come in recently, which I'm so happy about.
Yeah, go on.
It was kind of everything came to a standstill at one point last year. It was awful. And new admins. We have new admins.
Yeah, I am back on the scene, which is rather strange actually. That was just kind of done on a whim.
What the hell did you do that for?
I don't know. It was pretty much an example of, I like doing this. I like looking after the website, so I've got more time on my hands now. So why not go back to doing that? And it was kind of strange coming back to AES full-time and seeing a lot of people in the chat that I didn't really know. So I'll be glad to get to know a bunch of you guys as well, since, I'm sure you're all cool people, or else, you wouldn't be here. We only have cool people here. Because we're cool people. Cool. Absolutely.
Only cool people allowed. Cool
yes.
Kids Zone.
Cool Kids Zone. It's like Sonic the Hedgehog in the 90s. We are that cool. But I think we just got a lot of federations, a lot more activity available now than what we did last year. And especially even this week, we've got a full week minus one day, which I think was yesterday.
Man, last time we had a full week was probably back in 2012.
Yeah, which is quite ridiculous looking into it. I mean, let's have a look now. We're also taping this on a Wednesday as well, if you didn't realise. And it's going to be aired on the Friday. It's just like SmackDown. So what we're going to do is edit all of your actions into the announcement that AES Network is going to be free this month.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Well, it's free every month, so never mind. But, I'm really, really, really glad that there's so much activity on the website now. It just makes me really proud to be a member again. And I have to say, just in terms of, the shows in general, the quality seems to have picked up a lot as well. And I'm just really glad for that, because I think we've just come such a long way. And I have no disrespect to the early grounds of AES back in, 2011, 2012, was it? When we really first started doing shows.
When we really first started doing shows. What is in like regularly?
Yeah.
Well, God, I mean, we've always had regular shows. I mean, we started in 2011, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, we had WWA every week until it ended. Then we had Aces pretty much every week till it ended.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had MWAT, pretty regularly until massive breaks and whatever.
Yeah, it became really sporadic towards the end, but even at one point...
sporadic. And then WFL had it every week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's when things really picked up and we got in our first massive upswing.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, for a while, we only really had two feds which were running, where we had, one big No Mercy fed and one big, WE fed.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've got loads. We've even got, it took us ages until we had a Fire Pro fed. I remember that was a big deal.
Right, because, I mean, there was Bolt. Remember Bolt Vanderhuge, who wanted to... he wanted to do a fed, but he was like, he didn't know anything about video editing, and was like, yeah, well, if, no custom themes. If these themes aren't good enough, then, you obviously care too much about your character. God,
Obviously
what an
so.
asshole. I'm sorry, I have no love for Bolt.
Okay, so we've got that confession out of the way, and I think another Fire Pro fed which we had and is immortalized in the AS archive is the Stumpy fed.
Oh man, Stumpy fed. I love Shaw. That's my favorite. My favorite. Egg and
wrestler?
Not The Rock are going to be the best tag team.
Is the bike still there?
I have no idea. We should go check. I think the Eggs. I cannot believe that the women's division is a group of eggs. I mean, basically, I think we should explain this for newer members. Basically, Stumpy McGoat was a member who. He made a lot of very good mashups, but he was a little weird, and he was going to run a fed called Shaw. It was like Stumpy's Ham Association Wrestling.
Yeah, it was something Ham. It was Stumpy Ham something or other, because in MWAT, Stumpy's character always went ham, according to Munch on commentary. But yes, continue.
Right. And it didn't look like too bad a fed. Like, it looked like to be a fed that we'd make it a lot of fun. Like, there was a bear. Yeah. I think he made Action Jackson, and then that's actually where Charanjit Singh was first gonna debut.
Yeah, and the funny story behind that was because obviously Estreme, actual Estreme, the person, is IDBC, and his Twitter account is _IDBC, because actual IDBC was taken by a man called Charanjit Singh.
And he's a real guy, too. We figured this out. Like, we thought he was a bot for several years, and then he just started properly tweeting, and we've figured out so much about him, and it's made for so much promo material for the character Charanjit Singh, which is phenomenal. Hilarious. But, so...
And this was in GBA Fire Pro as well, by the way.
Yeah, this is in Fire Pro 2 for the Game Boy Advance, and, it didn't look half bad, but... the big thing was, it just, about a year ago, every image, because they were all hosted on, TinyPic?
Yeah, they were on TinyPic, and
every image was replaced by something
images.
completely different, including, for the women's division, I think it was the only wrestler in it was Laura Brennan, and she was... replaced by a group of eggs. In the main events, we have a mountain and a picture of The Rock inside a no sign,
which is hilarious in a way.
Yeah, which is pretty hilarious. You wouldn't. And I think the banner was actually changed to a group of bikes at one point.
Yeah, I remember it being just a random motorcycle. It was a huge image.
Yeah, so it was gigantic.
If you went in the Dead Fed archive, it just stretched your page completely. It was. Yeah,
we didn't want to change it because it was too funny.
Yeah.
That was pretty much should we change this? And it was just nah.
That's pretty much how most things went in AES. It was pretty much like, hey, should we do this? I don't know, it's too funny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, let's just do it anyway. It's hilarious.
Yeah, that's how Ginger Mahal became a thing.
Okay, we need to save that for later, I think.
Okay.
The Ginger Mahal... No, let's tell the Ginger Mahal story.
Okay,
now,
the Ginger Mahal story, huh?
Yeah. So we were watching Raw in a call, and we were just Stardy actually signed up Free Fruits Basket to CNW when he was drunk, I think. And
I
then
don't know if he was drunk or just really, really tired, and he wrote it all down in a notepad and didn't remember writing any of it. He just woke up the next morning and opened the notepad, and the entire app was there. And he was like, okay, I'm going to post it.
And then we saw Jinder Mahal, and it was like, I think Sheamus was actually in a match with Jinder Mahal, and I thought Jerry Lawler
I
said
think that's
Jinder
what it
Mahal.
was. And we thought that, was it Lawler?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we thought he said Ginger Mahal, and we just fucking lost it.
And then, yeah.
And then that's how Ginger Mahal became Sheamus in an orange turban.
And it's even funnier now with superstar heads. I mean, if you've seen the latest
God.
like, unfortunately, you can't have the turban, but holy Jesus, is it funny?
Oh my god, it's so funny. It really is.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the big things about AES now, which we don't think we had in the past, is because we can just kind of... Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether we'll call it our own memes or our own in-jokes, but we have like a lot of history that we can fall back on where everyone go, even if you weren't there for it, you can still appreciate it. So people can tune in and be like, why is Sheamus dressed up in an orange turban? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And everyone else can be like, holy shit, it's Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that at Renaissance in the Battle Royal, or the dance-off, the fake dance-off.
Yeah.
Where I just basically put a bunch of really silly gimmicks. And I know that some, like, people like Blake, Blake was there and a few others. And they saw Reverend Devon, and, it's funny because it's Reverend Devon. But then, like, he was just losing it because of all the, like, there was Skeleton and Lisa from The Room, and Ginger Mahal was there, and Cosmo A, Fats King, a bunch of really fun gimmicks. And then Kevin Blastoise, and people saw that and they could appreciate it, and I like that about AES, is that I feel that we have really relatable kind of gimmicks.
Yeah, absolutely, because that was going to be the thing I was going to say, is we just have a lot of things which are relatable, and I think when we do this podcast, I tend to try and not talk about WWE because it's the easy thing to do. But in terms of like where the WWE is out of touch, is they just have a lot of unrelatable characters.
Right.
And I think, like, I mean, obviously it's because it's...
Then they have Rusev, who's fucking awesome.
Yes, Rusev is awesome. But I think it's because, one of the good things about ES is that it's written by us, for us. And that's why it's so enjoyable, is because we can obviously... if... like... I don't know, something simple like a weeaboo gimmick, we all get it. We know a majority of us are weeaboos, so we can all relate to it, and it's like, that's
horrible,
funny.
Horrible Japanese anime trash.
Yeah, we
in
are...
some way, or at least we find it funny,
But if, I don't know, if we had like... what was the name of TZ's character, which was the actual weeaboo?
Jeffrey Sato-chan.
Jeffrey Sato-chan. If he was a WWE wrestler, a lot of people wouldn't get it.
Right.
He'd just become the nerd.
Right, and it wouldn't be that funny, yeah. I mean, God, if I can talk about, a newer member, Bones.
Yeah.
Look at Bones. Like, I think everyone kind of gets his gimmick immediately. He has kind of that he's even said he's based on Afro Samurai. Mm-hmm. And, that comes across, and it's just the fact that, he can come in and do what's basically an Afro Samurai kind of gimmick, and we can all get it, and we can all get behind it. It's, we have kind of we have a demographic in ourselves,
Yeah, and there's a lot of creative freedom as well.
And yeah, exactly, and there's tons of creative freedom, and I think we like to try and encourage, creativity, and that's a good thing,
Yeah, I have to note as well that I'm really glad that people are posting the criticism thread, and I'm so sorry if I have severely shat over you, but I really like it when people are good, and there's so much good going on.
Oh, man, there's so much good in AES, and I still hold it, completely near to my heart that, AES is just such one of the most talented groups of people I've ever been with, and I want everyone to realize their full potential, so,
Man, when we do this is just like propaganda. This is just like, you guys are great. Keep being great. This is
maybe
why I
if
love
they
this
weren't so great, you know.
yeah,
we keep
just
posting in the criticism thread. By the way, I love that thread. It's a good thread.
No, it really is, and I think that's one of the really good things I like about AES, because obviously, as some of you know, I do most of you probably don't know or care. I do a writing thing on the side for this. Well, they run conventions over here in the UK. They're called MCM, and I write a few articles for them. And like generally, when I post something for them, all they do is they edit it without telling me if there's any problems with it, and then put it up, and then I don't hear off them again. And that's cool because like whatever, I know it must be okay, or else they won't have posted it. But I don't get any feedback. And that really disappoints me. I just like when I signed up for it, because my journalistic integrity is nowhere near as good as Josh Matthews. So, I wanted to be able to be good at doing my job, but, in a serious way. I wanted to be able to be like, okay, I want to be really polished at this, and I was going to post something which I thought was really shit, and I wanted them to shit all over it so I know how to improve. And they didn't do that. And I really wanted them to do that, and I think to be able to get people to do that on AES is pretty great. I mean, not everyone reacts good to, negative criticism, or however you would say it, where it's like, right, I think you could improve in this way. But I really do like it when people do, because I think there's so many people that have listened to the criticism that was given to them and have improved leaps and bounds, and it's...
Oh, for sure. I mean, I could name plenty just, off the top of my head.
I think everyone has.
Yeah, I think everyone, if you listen to criticism, then, you're going to improve, and, everyone has the potential in it to improve. Mm-hmm. And I think that's great.
No, absolutely. Even some people, like, who used to be jokes, or, however it was, where I just think, and to be honest with you, I used to read through some promos, and I used to be like, I never thought this person would be any good, and now I read it back, and I'm like, wow, where the fuck did that come from?
Right, and it's all about, listening to criticism, listening to advice, and, pushing yourself.
Yes.
And really finding what works for you is a big thing, because I think some people have really found a niche that they're great at, and I think that's great.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of niches in terms of characters on an AES. I still think there's a lot of characters that still haven't been done yet. Well,
I mean, that's what a bunch of my characters have been. Like, my recent characters have kind of started off, well, I haven't seen this kind of idea, done.
Yeah,
so.
And, as you all know, then, a lot of the things I've been doing are like that, so... Yeah, that should be great in the future, so... Yeah, look forward to that. Man, future's going to be great.
For sure.
Well, yeah, speaking of the future, I want to really talk briefly about stuff that's coming up and stuff that's happened recently as well. I mean, obviously, we've got ZPW doing Carpe Diem soon. Clearthought Pro Wrestling's also coming off of its first pay-per-view and is having his quote-unquote first show. Now, also had its 7th episode on Tuesday, which in real time is yesterday, but as you're listening to this, it would have been a few days ago. SAPW, TDW, and UWAT also had shows last week, which some of them were very Halloween-y. And Primetime also had a very Cancer Month, non-Cancer Month special, which I thought was very funny as well, by the way.
Thank you.
It was... I'm really, really glad they released that John Cena video, because that was, like, the dumbest idea, and I'm really glad people like that. I know.
I feel lucky. It was great because it sounds like you were whispering into your mic. Like you were doing whisper shouts like Munch used to do on announcing.
Yeah.
Which just made it sound hilarious.
I was, because...
I feel lucky. I feel great.
Time to go to work. I was, because I think like my girlfriend was in the room at the time, but she wasn't like aware of what I was doing. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to record this thing. And I don't think she'd seen the video, so I was just like doing it really quiet, and she was just like, what the fuck was that? Oh, nothing.
Pleb.
Just pleb things, yeah. But yeah, so out of all of these shows, like I said before, I have to thank everyone that, participated in creating the shows, because I know how much hassle it is to record and to broadcast. because, oh my god. And just for everyone that just participates, any shape and form, be it promoing, because I absolutely love reading promos, and I'm really gonna...
Promos.
Go on.
Have you read the Now promos? Like, the ones that have come out so far
Yes.
are so good. I was losing it at Lakeem and Brand.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Continue.
Yes. So, yeah, just thank you for promoing, because I absolutely love reading promos. I'm also, and I've said this before in the criticism thread, I'm going to, if someone else doesn't already beat me to it, I'm going to post on every post that everyone posts in there, unless it's something silly like I want you to read all of my promos and comment on every single one of them, then I'll do it when I get round to it. If someone else beats me to it, then, fair enough, if I've not got anything else to add, but yeah, I'm going to continue to try and do that. So, yeah, and thank you for showing up for the streams. I've not been that good at it up to late. I mean, I didn't, manage to go up to Watch Now last night, but I will catch up on it, just because lost sleep. I mean, the unfortunate thing is time zones, but, that's the really good thing as well, is we have YouTube, where people can catch up on.
Yeah, and I need to be better at uploading my shows to YouTube.
Yes.
I used to be quite good at it, but...
Yeah, I mean, it was easier with Twitch.
Yeah.
You can just upload it, really. And I'm really glad as well that, and I think something that we do need to start doing is more highlights. So,
oh man, highlights. I loved it. Like, when I was looking back at my favorite C&W moments, having all those highlights was really just a godsend, Mm-hmm. So I really think we need to try and work on that more.
Yes, so if anyone is willing to not sit through, but go through the shows after they're finished and just upload a few highlights to YouTube,
that would be great.
It is quite easy. Like, all you have to do is go in the video and just put start time, end time, title of video, done, and then you just leave it sitting in your browser for like a few minutes.
Yeah.
And then that's it,
Yeah.
So, if someone's willing to do that, then
pretty much instant if it's broadcast on Twitch.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, so if anyone's willing to do that, let us know. Obviously, it helps if you're already admin, but, we can always sort that out. But yeah, just thank you to everyone to keep showing up, because, AES is because of all of us. So, yeah, the question I was eventually getting to about 10 minutes later is, like, which of these do you think you've enjoyed the most, and why? And what are you also looking forward to in the future?
Man,
Sorry, that's a very broad question.
Yeah, but I gotta say right now, probably my favorite thing going is definitely Now. I mean, it's so good. It really is. I mean, it's just a really good hour or two of wrestling. Mm-hmm. It has a purpose. I love the rookies. I mean, I really think that there are some great rookies that I really hope have a huge future in AES, even if they can't show up, until however many months after the first Now ends. Mm-hmm. I think that, they've all been built up so well, and that I see a lot of them showing up in Feds in the future, and I love that.
And it's a really good way
Archfield's gonna win.
Yeah. It's a really good way of building it as well, is because, you get a lot of hype for, like, okay, these people are only in Now. And you know that, like, once Now is finished, they can go on to other Feds, so you get kind of hyped to the point of, like, oh, yeah, this is going to be great, because eventually we might see Stephen Archfield in ZPW, or, we might see this character in this Fed, or whatever, it's...
You get Shogo Mito in TDW or something.
Yeah, anything like that.
It's great, and, I mean, can you imagine, once they become free agents, because I don't think they can actually join a Fed for a few months. Afterwards, which is understandable. But imagine if, I don't know, GMs had, like, bidding wars and things.
Oh, that'd be fucking great.
Yeah, just everyone kind of competing to get, the top rookie on their brand. Mm-hmm. It'd be really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential that you can have with it, and it's one of the things I really disliked about NXT going off of Season 2. I mean, obviously, there's the obvious comparison to... NXT, because originally it was just going to be, it was called AS NXT, because Joey talked about it for ages, didn't he?
Yeah, ages and ages before he decided on Now.
Yeah.
It was always based on the original. Mm-hmm. So good, so much better.
Yeah, and I feel slightly, I don't know, I still feel really bad, because I really meant to send him the Dazzle that you sent me. I was going to send it to Joey, and I kept meaning to do it, and then obviously I got caught up with work. But I'm slightly glad I didn't then, because now he's got, HD capture card.
Yeah, he's got the Hoopage. which is amazing.
Oh,
Get one
gosh.
if you haven't. If you can afford one and you want to run a Fed, it's a lifesaver.
Yes, absolutely. Officially sponsored by Hop Edge.
Yes.
Which will have 52 new pronunciations by the end of the show.
The Hippooge.
The Hippooge. The Hop
Edge.
We've just turned into a Swedish chef skit now. Yes. But yeah, I think, like... Okay, here's a question, Theo. What would you think that now... what's the good differences between now and NXT? What do you think now does better than NXT?
Pacing. Pacing's way better than the original NXT. There's more matches. Challenges are all very focused on getting over the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there isn't any, slowly run around and drink a soda challenges.
Yeah.
There's things like, talk the talk, which is great. Really the best challenge in NXT was Know Your Pro, and that's just because Derek Bateman and Daniel Bryan were the best.
Yeah.
But really, the talk the talk challenges, the matches, I loved AES versus NXT, last show. Like, that was so cool to have, just because, some of the rookies got big wins and, high profile matches, and I loved that. And it was great because it really feels like a different entity. Like, that's the thing. NXT did feel like another entity, but not always in the best way.
Yeah.
This feels like its own kind of subsection of AES, and it just feels special when someone like Harvey Lotz or any of, anyone from a different Fed shows up. And I love the pro pairings. I feel that, every rookie and pro pairing has their own kind of dynamic and story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's great. And really just storylines as well. I love the storylines in now. Just, we're getting a lot of kind of feuds that we weren't sure we were ever going to get properly. Like, we're getting Beardy versus Trippy. And Ron versus Estermere we seem to be getting too, which has been great. It's been so good. So it's really nice. There's a lot going on. I think there's never a dull moment, whereas NXT was mostly dull moments.
Yes, I think NXT was slightly Mystery Science Theater, in the way it was enjoyable, as in it was kind of like a ironic enjoyment you got out of it, especially going to season 2, 3, 4, just downhill. And the thing was as well with NXT was a lot of the challenges, and I actually was listening to Daniel Bryan on the Chris Jericho podcast, where he was basically talking about the NXT challenges, and he was saying like the most of the NXT challenges were just things that Vince McMahon thought up of on a whim just to entertain himself.
Yeah.
So
I always laugh at I was watching one of the NXTs with someone, and we were talking in a forum thread, and he just said, he's like, what am I doing with my life? I'm sitting alone on a Tuesday watching Daniel Bryan slowly sip a soda. And I just lost it. And I will always laugh at that challenge because Daniel Bryan was just really carefully drinking that soda, just super slowly. That was so funny. But yeah, it's shit. It's shit.
Whereas now is pretty good.
Whereas now is very good.
Yes, absolutely. And to the other part of the question, what show or what thing are you looking forward to most in the future?
Most. Carpe Diem I've been looking forward to since before ZPW started.
Yes.
But I got a good feeling about it. I think it's going to be really exciting. And I love first pay-per-views, period.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you're always trying to do your best. So that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And of course, just to say Now again, next episode of Now is an elimination one. So in a way, I'm looking forward to that. But in a way, I'm also just really worried because I'm afraid that someone we like will get eliminated. And I'm just like,
See, that's the good thing about the show is it has a... And I think one of the things that wrestling lacks is this real kind of feeling of just tenseness. Like, oh shit, could this happen? And just being able to build that. And one of the really good examples is like, Ah, God, I'm trying to think of a really good example. I mean, again to go back to WWE, it's just something like where Punk wins the championship at Money in the Bank. It's like, shit, is this actually going to happen? Or like, to use an AEX example, where Osaka Destroyer cashes in his Golden Fleece. It was like, shit, is this happening? You know, it adds that real kind of tensity of, oh wow,
that was
you know,
my
like
favorite
you're on the
moment,
edge of the seat. And I think with now it adds that just in a gradual basis, because it's like someone has to get eliminated.
Mm-hmm. And you know, we were even talking about it last show. No one wants anyone to get eliminated.
Yes.
Like after Sleazy went, like we were all really shocked. You know, I mean that the fact that it can have shocking moments like Butts McKenzie. You know, no one saw that coming. And then I mean Sleazy, yeah, but you know now with, I mean, apart from arguably Deltron Zero, I think that pretty much every rookie here has some kind of a following.
Yeah.
And even Deltron's good. It's just that Adam, you know, we had to step away.
Yeah, he
which is
seems
a
to be
shame.
back a bit more now, though.
Yeah, which I'm really glad about.
But to go over personally, I mean, let me answer my own questions.
Go on.
Yes, I think so far, I mean, I've been really enjoying, and I mean, obviously I've been watching now, so not to step over that, but I've also really been enjoying the ZPW that I have seen, and I would like to give a big shout out to SAPW for being consistently good, and I think OD has really stepped up his production value, because that's been, I was like, when I watched, I think I managed to miss the first couple of nights of Golden Triad, so I hadn't realised how good it was until I went back and watched it. But I watched the third one live, and I was just kind of blown away by how much like OD's improved.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It really, man, on the production side, I think everyone's just gotten super good at doing something really well.
Yeah.
And I love it.
And I think the thing is that people haven't gone super flashy and gone like full TV blown, overblown graphics like I even tried to do a lot of the time in CNW. What's the name of that EFED we used to always watch that was like really overblown?
URWL?
Yeah, like I don't think people have gone completely URWL.
CPW? No, I'm kidding.
No,
URWL was really good though.
Yeah, it was, but I think it was very overblown, and I think in terms of like turnaround, obviously it had like one show every few months or something ridiculous.
Right. I mean, even less than that, you know.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to production, you need to know how much is too much, and
Absolutely.
And you need to have a good, what's it called?
Turnaround. Just
Yeah,
like,
turnaround. Yeah.
Yeah, which I think, you know, eventually once you set everything up, you can do. Like with CNW, again, you know, I just kind of got the template for the main show, and I just copied it, and then I just inserted the new matches and the new segments, and it was easy enough. And, like, once you get to that, it's like, you know, why fix what's not broke?
Yeah, that's how I am with, I mean, Primetime is really just an evolution of what I did with all my super shows. And I've got it down so that I can finish, let's say, you know, a show that's just matches and no, you know, either I already have a Watt ad made or,
You put one together in about 2 minutes, and it's the worst idea ever.
Yeah, exactly. like my last one.
Oh, that was stupid.
It was so stupid. Wasn't it great?
Yeah, it was great.
No, but you know, what I'm saying is that, you know, I get up at 8. Let's say I edit the first match. I try and edit the first match on the same day I record, because my schedule is Wednesday I make cause, Saturday I record, and then in the evening I put together the first match, and then when I wake up on Friday I record, and then wake up on Saturday, and I wake up at 8, and then by noon the show's done.
And then you can
ready
just leave
to
it
render.
rendering. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a good way of doing it, because once you just kind of get a schedule, you set it out, and then you do it, and you turn it around, it just becomes, for me at least, it just became a lot easier, because I was pretty much the same, because I was doing CNW once a week, and I know like Laura was the same with WFL. You just kind of like go, right, okay, I will record these matches this way, and in this order, and then I'll put them all together, and then I've already got the template set out here, just shove everything in, it's nice and easy. You know, and I think a lot of people have been getting better at that, and that's why we've been getting a lot more turnaround. So
Yeah, we're getting more shows, great quality shows, And I'll say it again, all this production's nice, but I'd rather have a decently produced show that happens often with a bunch of great characters than, something like URWL. And this isn't to talk bad about URWL. It's just my own personal feelings. I think Goldash is a great guy. I used to love that product, but I feel like...
didn't we have a conversation with him a few times?
Yeah, he's actually on the site. So, hey, Goldash, if you're still around.
Yeah,
up,
I remember. Yeah, I remember him actually posting now. Yeah,
he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. But I feel that with a really long turnaround and then kind of generic, I don't want to say bland, but just sort of sports mixed sports characters. Yeah. Even though the production's amazing and does help, I would be far more into it if there were regular shows with half that production value and twice the amount of character.
Yeah, which was going to bring me to my next point, which was like TDW.
Oh man, TDW's great.
Which is pretty much the prime example of that, where it's like, and I think
TDW's freaking great, man.
Yeah, I think pretty much every No Mercy Fed has been like this, apart from T-Fire, where it's
I can say that TDW feels like the natural evolution of all the No Mercy Feds we've had, and that's why it's so good.
Yeah, where it's got like a nice amount of production value without it being silly. There's nice segments which actually look pretty good, because remember, pretty much in the past all we had was just text boxes and people.
Yeah, the nice kind of backstage segments, that's something we've never seen, and they look great in No Mercy, at least. Yeah. And they look damn good, they really do.
It's really something and it's a really big shock to me, because I have a lot of experience with WWE games, and a minimal amount of experience with Fire Pro, although I pretty much do know everything that's possible with it. But as old as No Mercy is, I still see things which I didn't think were possible in that game engine, and it really shocks me.
Yeah,
in a good way.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and it's a good Fed, and it just and it's that kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's pretty much as I was saying with CDW and Pro Wrestling in the past. You don't need to be absolutely spot on with production value every show. I mean, save it for the pay-per-view if anything.
Exactly. If you want. I mean, well, that's what I always did with, go look at Road to Renaissance, is that I did simple production, right? And then into Renaissance, I poured everything I had.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. That's good because, it creates, it lets people get hyped for it, and it makes the big events feel that much special. I'm not saying cut your own, what's the word? I'm not saying, like, dumb yourself down.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't dumb the weekly shows down to make the pay-per-view seem bigger. But I think that's definitely a problem that WWE's got, is at the moment all of the regular weekly sets are just huge, big Titantron fuckeries that when it comes to the pay-per-view it's like, well, so what? The ground to improve just keeps getting bigger and bigger. But I think, keeping it minimal and just making the pay-per-views a nice, good place to show off. And, yeah, that's the formula I think works, personally at least. And I think, a lot of people are sticking to that, and I'm really glad. And I can't wait until people see Carpe Diem, because it's going to be great.
Yeah, Carpe Diem's going to be great.
So, yeah, what was going to be my next point? Stuff I'm looking forward to. Obviously, more of everything that's going on. Basically.
Yeah. I just want more AES at this point. I really do.
Yeah, because everything it just seems to be, and one of the reasons why I'm so glad to just be coming back full time. And I don't want to seem like the fucking Brock Lesnar or The Rock of AES. Actually, does this make me Brock Lesnar and you Rock? Or is it the other way around?
Oh man. Yeah, I think you're Brock, and then I'm The Rock, because I show up and everyone cheers and I do some pretty cool things, whereas you show up and you fuck everyone up.
Yeah.
And shit all over everyone and piss people off. Yeah, and you piss a lot.
Yeah.
Fuck off. But wait, are we finally going to be able to get Brock versus Lesnar?
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to stuff happening in the future. And again, what I was saying was I don't want to seem like the fucking Lesnar of AES, which just shows up where everything's going great. But I just do think that everything was tending to be going great anyway. So the fact that I came around and was like, oh, right, yeah, more stuff's happening. That's fucking good. I'm really glad. And, yeah, just keep it up, everyone. I mean, I was just saying to Not Tensai the other day how much I enjoyed you, and I really do enjoy everything that goes on in AS, and just... Yeah.
On the subject of us being Brock and Rock, I think we should talk a bit about that, just because, it is pretty well known that we took kind of rather long breaks,
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the questions, but it's not in the questions we picked this week.
Yeah, it's not in the questions list, or else I wouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah, why, what did you want to say exactly?
Oh, I just wanted to talk a bit about it, because I think that, taking a break is important, especially for your own health.
Absolutely. I think, speaking for myself, obviously I'd just taken on a full-time job as well as a full-time girlfriend, and I think fed in just because we've been doing it consistently for I'd been doing it for at least 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've been doing it for even longer.
Yeah, I'm about to say you've been doing it for even longer. So I think after a bit as well, it was just getting a little bit stagnant, and I just got really fed up with CNW. Not in the terms of the show, just because I wanted to do it as a full-time job. I still want to do it as a full-time job.
I want you to do it as a full-time job.
Yeah, that would be so good. No, we should both do it as a No, seriously.
If I could, I would.
Yeah, we just have this studio, some little like recording studio somewhere in fucking California, and we just roll into work at like 11 p.m.
Perfect.
We've just got a PS3 hooked up to a TV and a big soundboard, and we just sit there and that'd be great.
Perfect. We can get a famous YouTuber, Gerard the Completionist, to shill us.
Yes.
He lives in California.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, he's great. But on the subject of breaks and coming back like Brock and the Rock.
Yeah, I think sometimes you need a break to be fresh.
Yes, and back and better than ever. Hooray!
No, absolutely. I feel shit for not being around. I just feel like I have missed a lot, and I feel like I'm slightly out of touch, and I feel really shit because I feel like I've built up a lot of AES, and I don't want to take too much credit, but I pumped a lot into it, and I like seeing everything that comes out of it, and that sounds really erotic, but seriously, I'm really glad that everyone's doing so well at the moment. So yeah, I'm really glad to be back. And you?
Me?
Yeah,
I'm back. Hi, friends.
Yes. But yeah, I have a full-time job, full-time girlfriend. Now, I think I've cleared a lot of time as well because I'm less stressed about my job and everything else, so I can pretty much...
I had school and was also feeling really, really shit for, piles and piles of reasons, and I couldn't do it anymore. I was up to my eyeballs in everything, and I knew I needed to just disconnect for a bit.
Yeah.
And,
do
something else.
Yeah, and I think for a while I wasn't even thinking of coming back ever. Like, I just wanted to kind of, stay in touch with everyone. And for, a few months I was like, oh, I don't even know if I want to ever do this again. And then I think you just kind of get that moment where it's like, shit, I really remember why I enjoyed doing this. And I can't remember what the exact moment was where I was like, oh man, I forgot how fun this was, but I think it was just something... I think it was probably the Teddy Long adverts, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was just because that idea of, that in-joke, that community interaction when I'm sat there and I'm absolutely splitting my sides and I'm like, this is so fun. And then I think just that in the entire show that was on, and I can't even remember...
Golden Triad, because that's when the Drive one came, and that was your first Teddy Long ad.
Yeah, so yeah, it would have been like the Golden Triad final
Night
show.
3.
Yeah, because that was so fun, and I just think watching that, and I was like, I think because as well I've been on a downer on WWEs lately, so wrestling as a whole has been a bit like, ugh. So when I watched that, and I was like, man, I forgot how fucking fun wrestling could be.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. That's what happened to me. It was, for me it was TDW, and then certain site events, and then, I think it actually was Now, because I signed up for Now, and, the first show happened, and it was really damn good, and I think it was just a combination of TDW kind of showing me just how fun it was, and then certain sites events, and then everything just started being the Teddy Long ads, I started having more time for shows. I started wanting to show up to shows.
Yeah.
Because I was just so stressed out that all I wanted to do was curl up and do nothing.
Oh, yeah, I know that feeling. Don't worry about it.
So, just, it really is the community that helped, and the community and the stuff we make and the laughs we share. Mm-hmm. It's great.
So this is the part, when you're playing a video game and you get to the credits and it's like, and you.
No.
That's that bit.
You.
And you. Thanks for playing AS. But yeah, as we're pretty much getting up to the 45-minute mark on the dot, we're about 30 seconds off of it, actually, my clock's right. I want to move on to the last section of the show. I'm trying to keep it around an hour-ish. So, yeah, let's just go to the questions. So, basically, as you're all probably seen in the AES announcement section, I posted a new thing about the radio, where I asked you all to ask a bunch of questions. Some of them funny, some of them serious, all of them very interesting. And I picked 5 of them this time, and I think next time we're probably going to reuse a lot of use a lot of the ones that we didn't use this time, because there's so many good questions. And I've picked quite a few easy-ish ones that I know are going to be pretty quick answers, but there's some really thought-provoking ones here. But yeah, I'm just going to go straight in with number 1, and I got these in the order they were posted, but I didn't, obviously. I took like 1 from every post or whatever. So go ahead and post more questions for the next shows. But the first question I picked this time was from Ross, and it was, who do you want to see more things from in the future? Which is a pretty wide question, but I like it. So yeah, go ahead.
Oh man, shit.
And I think we've already answered this one in just one word: everyone.
Everyone, yeah. Honestly, more community. Man, they're gonna say that that's not good enough.
Yeah, they are gonna say. This
okay.
is the good thing about pre-taping it, is we can just judge everyone already.
Yeah.
You're all posting fucking Twitch emotes in chat, and you're all shitting on this. I know you are.
Yeah.
I see you there, TZ.
You hate us.
Yes. Also
no. You see the TZ if he's not at work.
Yeah, true.
He could be at work, but yeah. Everyone, really. Character-wise.
Zap Cannon.
Oh, man.
I have to say, I really enjoy that character.
Oh, I love Zap Cannon, but I have a few that I'd love to see either come back to Feds or happen more in Feds, I guess. Join more Feds. I'd love Hiro Nagasaki to be in more Feds.
Oh, yes.
He's so good. I was taping that primetime match, and he always clicked for me in C&W, but it's kind of like how I felt about Blackout, in that I always really liked him, but then when I got to kind of mess about with him and do a match with him, it just clicked, and I was like, holy shit, this character is so good. Mm-hmm. So that'd be my pick if I had to pick a character. I want Hiro Nagasaki in more Feds. Yes.
Okay, that's a good one. I think definitely I have to agree with you on Blackout.
Oh, Blackout's fucking great.
There must be more Blackout.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's try and think. Ryan Davis, I'm really glad has come into his own. God, let's see. I'm not too sure, because I think pretty much everyone else has been mentioned, at some point.
I want everyone, I love everyone's characters so much. God, Eric has nothing but good characters, pretty much,
Yeah.
Everyone. Promo more Feds, sign up more, just more shows. I love it. I love it when AES is booming like this, because there's just so much about us, about our history and about our characters, and there's just so much to love and enjoy, and it's great,
Because it's unique as well, because one of the things we always talk about is how, and I think even like Blake from New Legacy, we had this long conversation about this, is because Blake actually used to do a lot of his own E-Feds, kind of similar how to we do, the way we do them. But he was just saying, no one really does the way that we do, because it's kind of like a mixture of what you would call a call league, as well as an actual E-Fed.
Right.
Just in the way that the show's broadcast live as well.
Right, and God, we were the first to go live.
Yeah.
Straight up, we were the first to go live. Most of them still just use YouTube. Mm-hmm. We did so much and are doing so much that is still completely unique, and I think that's great, and that we need to do more of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the fact that we can sit here and talk upon hours and hours and hours and hours about all the stuff that we do and don't do and, well, have done, I should say.
I mean, God, we're going up to our
Fortnight
3rd year anniversary, 4th year anniversary. Yeah, in February, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is so crazy.
Just the fact that I've known most of you dudes as well for like, well, I say most, a lot of you guys as well for like almost 4 years.
That's crazy.
Fucking hell.
You know, we have so much history, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So question number 2. Speaking of history, what are some character ideas that you've scrapped in the past? And that's from IDBC, aka Joey.
I'll let you take this one. God, where to start?
Where to start? Just way too many was what I was trying to say. Ones I really wish I did. I was thinking about this as well the other day. Nomad.
Explain Nomad.
Yeah, he was going to be in Phoenix. He was basically... The idea of the gimmick was he was the world's dumbest genius, where he was like this former... He was like really high IQ, chess champion, blah, 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 that he just got bored of being an intellect. So he kind of dumbed himself down and just got into a load of scrappy fights because he liked to fight. And yeah, that was pretty much it. It was just this big, beefy dude that was just from... I think he was from Miami because all my characters are from Miami.
Or future Miami.
Yeah, future Miami. Also planning on moving in real life to future Miami.
Good.
Yeah.
With all the coffee.
Yeah, I'm just building a coffee flux capacitor. It's in the works.
Good.
But yeah, that was Nomad. I can't remember what else I had planned for him. But yeah, Lucilius LeChance.
Oh, man, what a call.
Lucilius
was great.
Yeah, he was pretty much... He looked kind of like Vamp from Metal Gear Solid. And he was pretty much a evil vampire cultist, because I thought it's a character that's still not been done yet. I mean, kind of similar is Kira's character. I'm trying to think who else has there been an actual vampire character yet?
No, not that I know of. I mean, there's the Blackburn sisters who have undertones, and then there's my character who I don't have a place for.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, he's totally not a vampire.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. So yeah, there was Lucilius LeChance. God, who else was there? I'm trying to think. Way too many.
Way too many.
Yeah, go on. You can go.
For me, God, a lot of my scrapped characters end up being refined into different characters. Like Blur, for example. You know, now we know her as the gamer character.
Yeah.
But originally she was going to be kind of like a rave thing, just really kind of bright colors and neon and you know, darkness and stuff, but I couldn't get anything to work right. Like, I wanted to give her paint and all this other stuff, and nothing I was doing was working. So eventually I just sat on that for a bit until we came
Something
up with
works.
the gamer thing, yeah.
I mean, and that's what I was like with Leslie Fairchild, was just for ages I was just like, oh man, I want to do a boxer character. What can I do for a boxer character? Well, I want him to be black. Wait, that didn't end up happening. And then he just ended up being super American, and then that less of this, and then he just bits and bits, and then I was thinking for days to find the theme, and then I just sent the theme. I was like, right, this is gonna work. And I remember just sending it to a few people, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So sometimes it just
yes or truck yeah.
Yeah, we said that in unison.
Fuck off. Carl, I have plenty. Like I say, most of my characters end up being used and refined in some way, and bits of them end up getting used. Like, God, even for someone newer like Connie Quinn, I went through just tons of different vague ideas until we got something completely different from what she is now.
Yeah. And I'm even sometimes you can start writing a character and put them into a federation, then be like, okay, I want to take this in a completely different direction.
Yeah, I did that with Manfred Rickett, actually. Manfred Rickett was originally going to be kind of a Dick Dastardly type, kind of old school mustache twirling villain.
Train tracks.
Yeah, exactly. But he ended up being...
There's nothing evil about twirling mustaches, I just have to say.
Oh, yeah, you should know that. Okay. tie you to train tracks, that kind of villain. But he ended up being a lot more sinister and a lot more, corporate. And I think that's for the best.
Well, it's a lot more
he became
relatable in
basically
modern
kind
world.
of a evil businessman that, and he did a lot, and it was a lot of fun to write him. But scrapped, like just straight up scrapped ideas. See, that's such a good question because I have tons of cause out there.
Yeah.
I have the beta, alpha, delta dudes, but I don't consider them scrapped. I just haven't really put them anywhere.
Yeah, there's not so many that are just scrapped as many as that are just not happened.
Under construction.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, God, I've the Butler character, Christopher Blackwood, I haven't put him anywhere, yeah. But
what I'm actually going to do at some point, sorry to interrupt you, is open up WB13 and just have a look at all my calls that I probably not even remade, because there's going to be so many. John Doe, actually, I had a character, I know there's John Doe the character now, but I actually had a character that was actually called Jean Doe, spelled Jendieu.
Right, I remember him.
Yeah, he was like a French revolutionist.
Yeah. Yeah, the French gimmick.
Yeah, he was going to be like... Basically, I wanted to do something where someone was French, but not have it be the main facet of the character. Where he was just like this very socialist, upriser face character that just happened to be French. And I wanted to work it into those French people that wear all black and smoke outside cafes kind of thing.
Right. God, I remember him, and he had the stripy shirt and everything.
Yeah, and he had the chains on his
from
tights.
Jerk City. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chain tights. Oh man, he was cool. He was really cool, but he just never showed up anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that. I mean, I just have to really look through W13.
I had Mr. American who ended up turning into Super America.
Yeah.
That's about it. I'm sure there's a character that was just straight up scrapped though. Blur was close to it until Blur was close, and then I have other characters for another non-wrestling RP. I had a character called Yasu Yasukawa, and she was kind of a I guess an anti-Eren, if you will.
How does that work?
Oh well, you know how Eren is probably a robot?
Yes.
Well, Yasu probably was not.
Oh, right. So she thinks she's a robot, but isn't.
Right. And there's more to it. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I think that's the only one with a character that I got decently well into and then just couldn't click.
Yeah.
And just scrapped it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of that. I mean, I think with Angelis, I never really did everything I wanted to do with her. That was just mostly because... the call was really hard to remake because I'm an idiot.
It's a good call, though.
Yeah.
Fantastic call.
Yeah, shame I kind of stole the design from Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. I'm only just getting around to playing it, but yeah,
it's
whatever.
It's a good game, though.
Yeah.
Play a real Shin Megami Tensei game.
Yeah, shout outs to Persona. But yeah, wow, we just spent about 10 minutes on that question. Good question.
Good question.
Good question, IDBC. I demand better questions. Wait, that doesn't work. Alright, okay, so I'm not even going to try and attempt to read this in the Miles King voice, but this was from Miles Quing. Quing?
Just a quick question for you, sirs.
Go on.
I can't even do the Miles King voice. Adam just does it great, but it's just a quick question for you, sirs. Can you describe in explicit detail why Class Inc. was the most dominant stable in this or any E-Federation site? And please state your answer in the form of a grovel.
No, I don't think we're going to state it in the form of a grovel because I wouldn't even know where to begin. Do you want to try?
Well, I mean, I guess I'm biased because Action Jackson was part of Class Inc.
Yeah.
But I really do consider it one of the best stables that the site's ever seen because from start to finish it had a pretty focused goal. A fantastic kind of bevy of talent went through it, and it didn't just die by drifting apart or anything, and it's still kind of a thing in the back of everyone's minds today, and I think that's great.
Yeah, and it didn't become too big either.
Yeah, it didn't become too big. it stayed what it was and what it was meant to be. To those who weren't around for Class Inc., it was in ProRes, and it started with Miles King and I believe Super K. And Miles and Super K, Miles opened kind of his... Super K was his bodyguard, was Miles King's bodyguard. And then Miles announced that he had signed him to a thing called Class Inc., which was a talent agency hosted by a mysterious backer. I believe around this time was when he recruited Richie. I can't remember the exact timeline. It's
I was
like
struggling
that.
to think, but yeah.
I believe it went Super K, Richie, and it was basically to help, Miles get the title from Pastor Lincoln, which I don't think actually happened. No. But it was also, we have the best talent. We are the best talent agency, right? And then it was revealed that the mystery backer was Action Jackson, who was who until that point, I mean, he and Miles King were a huge tag team in WWA. I loved them. Some of the most fun I've had was just working with Miles on just stupid, like, all the different names that they'd call themselves.
Yeah,
because they didn't ever have an official name. They kept calling themselves, they'd be deciding on the name later, and they'd call themselves like High Class Glass or I don't know, Kicking Ass and Showing Class, just stuff like that. And they change it every time.
And to kind of go off on a point as well, I always remember reading those promos on Woo, and that was kind of like before I even knew AS was a thing. And this is kind of how I got into AS, because I remember reading this really long promo on Woo about Action Jackson jumping from a helicopter and just kind of being like, what the fuck is this shit?
I remember that one really clearly. He jumps from the helicopter, which explodes, into a car, which drives away from a bridge, which explodes.
I'm reading that, and I'm just thinking the same thing.
And all this while, he's like talking about, Action Jackson coming to WWA, sucker, that kind of thing. It's great.
And I was just like, who the hell wrote this crap? But, and that's kind of funny because I ended up doing WWA promos, which were pretty much similar, where it's like Sir Dan arrives to the arena on a horse, and he was trying to struggle to park his horse.
Man, so good, so good. So Miles and Action Jackson, they had the thing back in WWA, which was AES's first Fed. And they hadn't really, outside of a bit in MWAT, hadn't really had much interaction to them. So Action Jackson being revealed as the mystery backer was kind of a really big surprise, but one that, was great. And
Plus
that actually wasn't originally planned. That was only planned because I was pulling from Phoenix and wanted to, and Gurley really wanted Action Jackson in ProRes. So I was like, look, okay, what do you want him for? And he was like, well, we're doing this angle. We think it would be great. I mean, this is what I booked it with in mind, and we were going to talk to you about it. What if we did this? And I was like, yeah, go for it, and it was great. It was awesome. And anyway, to continue on, with Class Inc. After Action Jackson was Super Plexington was signed from Phoenix and debuted in Class Inc. And then way after that, Cole Scorpio joined Class Inc. And I mean, God, it's just one hell of a bevy of talent,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well with Class Inc. is they had some really good feuds.
Oh,
and I mean,
God, yeah.
Obviously, I got to work with them right in Sir Dan. And I mean, that was really good because it was a heel versus heel feud that worked. Yeah. I mean, Sir Dan and Miles King actually had that in WA as well. Mm-hmm. And I think that helped me establish the Sir Dan character a lot as well because of, the promos that you did and the promos that Miles did. And then, we just tried to out-heel each other. And then, like, in ProRes, it was just that times 10,000.
Yeah, and it was great. That was such a good feud. And, I mean, there was Class Inc. versus Pastor Lincoln, Class Inc. versus, Sir Dan. God, I think Class Inc. Oh, God, Richie versus O'Derrick was amazing.
Yeah.
Holy shit, it was so good. Where O'Derrick just... with the double turn with Richie and Action Jackson and O'Derrick. Because basically, Chris O'Derrick became a whiny baby. And just turned everyone on him and started supporting Richie. Like, that was such a good angle that I think everyone needs to remember for all time.
Yeah, I think Chris O'Derrick's kind of like... He's one of those guys that I think if he was around more and he really got to grips with his writing would be really good.
Yeah, because he's been involved in a lot of really good stuff. It's just that he's really sporadic.
Yeah, I mean, he was around for.
I mean, he's such a nice guy
Lineage
too.
as well.
I mean, yeah, Lineage, and also booking him to do Vandal versus Oderic at Renaissance was great because he was with me. You know, every week he'd PM me and he'd say, "Hey, I have this idea," and it was just really cool stuff. It was like, well, what if Oderic learns the Diamond Cutter? And it was like, you know, and he's taught by the WWA. You know, we say, well, what if we do a mystery partner, and it's revealed that Chris Oderic's teacher was Wu DDP, because back in WWA, you know, DDP was in WWA and everyone loved him, you know, and I thought that was a really cool kind of moment, and just he knew how to build a feud, I think is the thing, and if he was around more and got to grips with his writing, he'd really know what's up.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus he actually finally used a theme that needed to be used for a while.
Yeah.
You know, and again, it's one of those that I just think would have been really good if it was used a lot, but no, it wasn't. But yeah, so Classing was really good, and I think just overall it was a really good example of a stable working well, because the good thing, well, for a stable to work well, it has to be having a clear start, middle, and finish. Well, just like any wrestling storyline, but I think especially stables, because they involve so many people, and they have so many different kind of personalities and directions and intentions going into it.
Right.
And
while Classic never, I think, got to get the finish that it should have had, I feel that that's probably for the best, and that it has it got the finish in progress that it could have, and it got, you know, Richie turning face again, which was great. You know, action, and right now I'd say Class Inc. is kind of a tweener thing right now. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, Action Jackson, I mean, I guess he's still a heel, but he's kind of a heel you kind of want to root for, I guess. You know, he's gone back to that kind of middle ground that he started at, which I like.
Yeah, and I think AAS, has come a lot further as well, because I think when we first started off, there wasn't a lot of black and white in terms of heel and face, which isn't necessarily a good thing.
I think we need clear villains and clear faces, even if the villains have sympathetic motives.
Yeah, and you know, villains having sympathetic motives is good, but you know, I think when we first started, there was a lack of faces, and now there's a lot of them, because you know, it's enjoyable to write likable characters.
I like writing faces.
Yeah, I really do. You know, a lot of my characters. Well, I'd say I'm about 50-50 in terms of like the way my characters are balanced, but yeah. Right, let's go on to the next question, because we're going like way too long on these.
Sorry about that.
It's cool. We're here to talk.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yes. Number 4. WWE is known for dropping balls, in brackets, lewd, on big angles. Any examples on drop balls in AS that you can think of? And I ain't talking about puberty. Without shitting on anybody in AS, what are they? This is from TZ. And I was really looking forward to doing this one, because, to be fair, you know, for all the good things we do in AS, there's quite a lot, and a lot of them is just because of missed opportunities and just missed timing and everything else, but there's quite a lot. I mean, and hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Just the Skype call stuttered. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
All right, there we go. I think there has been a lot of drop balls, and I think one of them that I wanted to bring up, and you know, it does sound a bit self-fulfilling, was Sir Dan having all of the No Mercy championships at once, because there wasn't really anything done with it.
Yeah. Wasn't he like Pro Res, Phoenix, and T-Fire champ all at the same time?
Yeah, for about an hour.
Yeah, for about an hour, and then I think you lost the T-Fire one?
Yeah. That was how it went, because he was like, I think there was a Phoenix show, and then a T-Fire show right after, or something like that. And for about an hour, he was both, and then he lost the T-Fire championship, which was a shame, but, you know, I can't really put myself over, but...
Well, it's kind of a shame, because it would have been really cool, because he, you know, Heel Dan... I still think to this day, Heel Dan is about as close as we get to a final boss in AES.
Zangief
as a face final boss, but Heel Dan as just the Undertaker, you know?
And that's
Geef is more of The Rock, I think, and then Heel Dan is more of the Undertaker.
Yeah.
And it's just this unstoppable just mountain, force. This unstoppable force.
And I have to give credit to Gurley in TBK for the way he was booked for that, and everyone else in the No Mercy Feds actually. So credit to Stardy and credit to Beardy.
Yeah.
Just for booking my characters well. But I think like what I would have really liked to have done is like of the storyline where we actually did talk about it, because it's not like it wasn't talked about. We actually talked about doing this championship. It was going to be called the Merciless Championship. It was going to be all 3 championships in one. I think he was going to defend it once. Or it was going to be mentioned that like Sir Danielson III was the Merciless champion because he had 3 world championships.
And then he lost it on T5 anyway.
Yeah, which I just think that was just because I think the reason why that happened was because some people booked a lot of things really far in advance, and like some people just booked them week by week. So the way it happened was just kind of luck.
Yeah, bad luck.
Yeah,
that's kind of a shame.
Yeah.
I can understand where you're coming from then, because that would have been really cool.
Yeah, I mean that was my personal kind of drop ball. But in terms of like other storylines that I think really should have happened or should have had more to it without saying what I know you want to say, I'm not too sure, because I think a lot of the ones I was really annoyed about I'm actually going to get a chance to do. Because a lot of the ones where I was really like, I really wish I'd done more with this character, or really wish we'd expanded upon this, I'm actually finally getting a chance to do a lot of them, which I'm really glad about.
I'm with you there. On a lot of different kind of bases.
Yeah, and I mean a lot of them I'm still like hesitant to talk about because I'm like, I'm not sure if we're going to do that at any point.
Right. So I'm with you. I understand.
But yes, go on, say the one that you want to say.
Oh, the one that I want to say. Everyone knows the one I want to say.
Yeah. Go on.
It's just Super Blizzard as a whole. Super Blizzard, if you knew what I knew about him, he was one of the coolest and most interesting complex characters in AES, like the character of Super Blizzard. And he could have been, should have been, so much more when he returned to WFL. And part of that is, he left. Part of it is bad timing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you look at like Hyper Blizzard. Hyper Blizzard is still one of the best written characters in the site's history. Just so good from top to bottom. But the Cobra T feud with Super Blizzard and Cobra T was going to be amazing. And I can't say it was. It did lead to one of my own personal favorite Cobra T moments, in that his promo after he lost the Loser Leaves WFL match.
Yeah.
But I feel that Super Blizzard never got the chance to really shine the way he did. He was such a fascinating character because he had so many personalities and just bits to him. He was very, very psychological. He was basically playing the face the entire time. And I don't think that it came off on screen as it could have. And because he didn't have much time before, work or music and life took him away, I don't think he got as much chance to show it as he should have when he and I were talking about it. So that's probably the big one. God, we talk about dropped balls. That's kind of like, that's just stories that never happened. If we talk about stories that
should have happened, or maybe moments that just never went anywhere, God. Well, there's a lot that didn't happen just because Feds just straight up ended.
Yeah, but I feel that's a lazy way of putting it,
Yeah, at that point you could just say, like, right, all of CNW, all of WFL, and everything else
exactly.
kind of ended abruptly, it's just like I was going to go into that, I was going to say, well, I really wish we saw more of Cotadel, and then I'm like, well, yeah, well, obviously.
Well, who the fuck's problem is, whose fault is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Jerk. No, biggest drop ball. Oh no, this would kind of count as a dead Fed thing, but the Doors and ACW. I still feel so awful for Stardy for that because of that.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of saw the conclusion of it, but it didn't get the entire runaround that it should.
Yeah, the entire thing. I think that we see the conclusion of it now. But basically, Stardy did this amazing ARG that the entire site was super into, with a lot of like passwords and guessing and you know, hints towards this storyline, which was to hint towards the El Trippy that we have today. And it was awesome. It was so awesome. It was going to happen in ACW and then
RVD.
RVD happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of just angles and drop balls, dropped. God, there's so many.
Yeah,
but I'm trying to
not
I'm
in a bad
can...
way either. It's just stuff that could have happened. I just think because of one of the things in AES is there's a lot of potential.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that there's so much potential. That means that, you know, when you close one door, you know, it's just a sad reality of it all. Yeah. I'm thinking about I'm thinking about pro wrestling, and there are like plenty of things I would have booked differently, but I can't really consider them drop balls. Drop balls. I know. Hats and Hellions. Hats and Hellions should have won at Odyssey.
Oh yeah, they didn't, did they?
No, they didn't. They lost because, or not Odyssey, Gemini.
Yeah.
Hats and Hellions should have won at Gemini. The entire tag team tournament, say what you will about it, if it did one thing right, it was give us Hats and Hellions, which was over as fuck. It was everyone loved Hats and Hellions, and the match with Lineage happened, and what happened was Derek Bryson ran out and barely interfered, and it was kind of a mess, and then Lineage retained via DQ, and it was really unsatisfying. No one was happy, and then Hats and Hellions won the next day by beating up Chris Oderick because Vandal abandoned him or something, like before the match started.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
It wasn't good.
That was a shame, really.
It wasn't good. Hats and Hellions should have had their big moment, because I mean, Richie's fine. You know, Richie's great where he is. He's made it to the upper echelon as he should have. But I feel that really stymied Lance Murdoch. And that, as a team, you know, they should have had their big moment.
Yeah, and it's a shame, because I think maybe if, like, WFL had carried on for more, they could have built to that.
Yeah.
But I think, like, if they were going to do that, they shouldn't have won the titles in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. They shouldn't have won the titles in the first place, or they should have just won it at Gemini, because there was the entire tag team tournament. It wasn't a good storyline, and it did some things right and some things wrong, and it could have had a better ending than it did. And I think that Hats and Hellions losing is a massive drop ball.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see them around again.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they were a great tag team.
Yeah. But I think that's like a, you know, like I said, just a victim of shitty timing and a victim of... It's just the way we did it back then, you know?
Yeah.
Just like, that was just the way to settle everything, was just like, okay guys, big tournament.
Yeah, it was just the way that things were back then. I think, just in general, everyone's booking style is so much better now than it was back then, and I think we've all really gotten a handle on really, really good booking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about in that question. So, final question, and this is an easy one, well, kind of is for me at least, and I'll ask you straight away. Hardest you've ever laughed at an EFED?
So many times. I've laughed at so many things in an EFED, but hardest, probably,
Free Fruits
no,
Basket?
I know, the Bane. Oh, well, no, Three Fruits Basket was great. The Bane Teddy Long ad. The AES cops. The AES cops coming out to face Bud Light.
Yeah,
was
like even
amazing.
though I did that was one of those things.
I was losing it. Oh, and Cowboy X-Block's debut.
Yes.
But I think that definitely the AES cops, because I was not prepared. I mean, I booked it and I was not prepared. It's not that I had forgotten. I just didn't know how you were going to do it. And then when the entrance happened, I was just losing it.
Yeah.
Though I will say, runner-up is definitely the Teddy Long ad that ends with him getting hit by a plane.
Because that was some quality fucking editing as well.
Oh, it was so good, and it was like because that was the first time. That was the first major Teddy Long ad. Because we had the one where he got run over a bunch, and it was hilarious. And then that was the first one, like just a clip from The Dark Knight Rises randomly started playing, and everyone was like, "Well, what's happening? What is this leading to?" And then we saw Teddy getting kissed by Tori, and we were like, "No, no, no, no!" And he like goes back to the thing, and fucking Teddy just gets hit by a fucking plane.
Oh, it's fucking great.
It was fantastic.
I have to definitely say, the first one I ever saw was the Drive one.
Thank you.
Which was great because everyone in chat was pretty much saying, "Oh my god, please no!" And I was like, "What the fuck is everyone going on about?" Then all of a sudden, Teddy Long, and I'm like, "No!" And I seriously could not breathe for about 5 minutes.
Oh man, I gotta say, shout outs to Last Now, where Gurley in the chat, I was laughing so hard that I had hiccups. Because Adam Atlas had gotten the new look, and we were all talking about ways to improve Adam Atlas, and Gurley just randomly says, "This is my pick for the winner at now. Hashtag back that Atlas up." And I just started losing it, and he kept saying it, and then Dallas actually used it as a catchphrase.
Holy shit. Okay, I'm going to just throw some random ones out there. The most ripped man in all of AES.
Oh man, okay, we gotta talk about that one. Basically, the AES cops, when Darius first created the AES cop car, the only thing he would say about it was, when he removes his uniform, he becomes the most ripped man in AES history. Oh, man.
Japanese RVD.
Japanese RVD. Oh, don't forget, for me, Betty. Betty, the first time Maximus became Betty and he came out and was fucking gigantic.
Oh god, yeah. Oh god, yeah, he was ripped, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was fucking ripped because of the Xenu symbiote.
Mm-hmm. What else? The Don't Turn Around promo in Rose.
Oh man, Don't Turn Around was good. No, oh god, no, I have one. Cotadell's toys with the chainsaw. Cotadell with the chainsaw, Cotadell with the bike. It was a struggle not to just corpse on commentary.
I'd already seen it, I guess, so I'd already known. Like, I'd seen it at least 3 times, but still.
It's still funny.
I don't really want to nominate any other stuff.
The 3 Fruits basket.
It's way too many. I think that's one of the good things about AES is it's just consistently fucking funny.
Yeah, AES has such a good sense of humor. Oh god, the Cloud Dre's belt.
Oh god, yes.
With his face on. So good.
All the walkers in the limo and Odin.
Oh man, the walkers wear tutu. I love it.
So you can just sit here, and then we just burst into treats just thinking
we
about
could
it
just
again.
sit here talking about how great all these moments were. Oh god.
Wow. So yeah. Fucking hell.
Oh man, remember Miles King facing off against a bunch of the toughest opponents, and fucking Robbie E comes out in progress, and he just beats Robbie E in 5 seconds.
Holy shit! Yes, I remember that. And also the fucking. Oh god, I just forgot what I was gonna say.
Man.
Oh,
Queen Frankie's debut. Because no one really knew anything about Not Tensai or what to expect. And then suddenly there's the douchiest theme comes out, and this bright orange car in John Morrison glasses and a crown just starts cartwheeling down the ramp.
Stomp, I've arrived.
Oh, man. Ennis Lynch in general, Brolita.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
There's so many. There was one that I really wanted to mention, but I can't remember.
Who did it involve?
God. Mr. Happy is Redneck Ninja.
Oh, man. Fucking Mr. Happy. Yes. Oh, and the Manliness Cop Dingo was always consistently funny.
Yeah.
On the subject to Dingo. Yeah, Mr. Happy as Redneck Ninja was great. What else? Too many.
Changref.
Oh, Changref. Yeah, the funny refs. Everything in SDW, like all the Booker ref.
Oh, the fucking Side Eye's character eliminating himself.
Yes, Tommy Hayakawa just eliminating himself from the battle royal.
Oh, and the way that last battle royal worked with Aoi winning as well.
Oh man, I was marking. I loved that finish. I'm glad everyone found it as fun as I did.
Oh yeah, we could just seriously.
We could just sit here and talk about the funny AES moments for days. There's just so many, but I gotta give it to the Teddy Long ad with Bane, mixed with Back That Atlas Up.
Yeah. There was way many more I was going to mention, especially in regards to stuff that Gurley and Derry have said in general.
Oh. No, wait, the promo where
If Bryson loses.
Yes, if Bryson loses, he dies. The promo where a Japanese businessman threatened to kill Derek Bryson if he lost the next match.
Oh wow.
And Derry making Meth Head Mark. Oh god.
Well, there's so many, right?
I think
there's
just so many.
Yeah.
We've exhausted. Let's move on.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
so that's pretty much it, really. I mean, that's pretty much everything that we had on the script. So, yeah. We're going on to an hour and 25 minutes, which is 25 minutes longer than I wanted it to be. But I hope
we've
you
been
guys
away for a bit.
Yeah, I hope you guys have as much fun listening to this as we had recording it. I mean, I sure had fun.
Oh, I had a great time.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. But wait, as you all probably well know, I have an announcement to make. I think it will be slightly bad news for some of you, but I think it will be good news as well. Obviously, because I'm back full time, what I am going to do, probably January, maybe February, is I am going to do a new super show. The new super show is going to be called, and this is just in prototype, I think. I'm not sure if we're going to stick with it, but I think so. It's going to be called AES Goes Over the Top.
We're way over the top, damn it.
Yes, absolutely. And what it will be, it's going to be obviously a one-off pay-per-view event, thinking of making it an annual thing. And the main event, obviously, is going to be a every man for himself, 40-man over-the-top battle royale. So basically a 40-man Royal Rumble, which has been needed to be done in AS for quite some time. So
yeah, I think the last one we had was actually throw a guy over the top rope battle royal in MWAT, not counting my FBR ones.
Who won that? Was it Action Jackson?
Yeah, no. Well, no, there was the title Royal Rumble that Action Jackson won, and then there was the one at the actual pay-per-view that Juan Cortez won.
Oh, yeah, shit, yeah, because I remember...
So that match has never happened, huh?
What was it that happened in MWAT where Munch basically said, all right, we need to do a title Rumble?
Lance Mazzaros.
Oh,
left.
Yeah, that was it, right. Okay.
Yeah. And then I won by winning 2 battle royals, motherfuckers.
Yes. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is an every man for himself, 40-man over-the-top battle royale Royal Rumble thing, which will be the main event, but the show itself will also have some filler matches. And when the show...
We're not really sure yet.
Yeah.
Or are we? I'm sorry. Go on.
So when we've finished airing this, which will obviously be on the Friday, it's still Wednesday, I'll post up a thread where you can suggest filler matches, and you can also register for the Rumble. So I've got times to make your calls in time for January or February, whenever. And it'll be in 2K14 because 2K15 is shit. And yeah, you can also, if you want to be a surprise entrant, just PM me. And yeah, there's going to be probably 30 sign-up slots, maybe 25, and I'll decide the rest be people's characters that I asked them to use, or random NPCs, etc.
Surprises.
Ooh. Lots of surprises. I've actually already made the arena and the logo.
Look at you.
Yeah. I pretty much made it on a whim the other day, and you've already seen it, haven't you?
Yeah, I've seen it. I'm excited for this. It looks great. I love Royal Rumbles, man.
Yeah, so... Yeah, it's pretty much going to be like an AES Royal Rumble. Everyone can be involved from any Fed, apart from now, obviously, if you're still a rookie, unless Joey makes an exception.
You're fucking rookies.
Yeah, and what it'll be is the winner of this event, we're not sure yet.
Yep.
Not sure what we're going to have the winner win. I'm thinking possibly, a title shot in whatever Fed they're in, but, it'd be up to the Fed owners. But we're still thinking on that. So, yeah, that's something to look forward to. I'll post up the forum, etc. Yeah, that's it. We're done, I think.
Yeah, we're out of time.
Yeah, we're out of time, folks. So, yeah, really, thank you if you've stayed with us all this long, or if you've joined us halfway, or you're listening to us on the app, or whatever. Thank you, because it's been a long time, and I really hope this was as fun for you as it was for us.
Yeah, I had fun. I hope you had fun too. So thank you. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you very much, and yeah, see you next time.
Yep. Bye. Farewell from me.
And farewell from me. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And recording.